The number of confirmed deaths has passed 200. The governor has called a state of emergency.
Hundreds and hundreds.
Hello there, Servum17 once again. This is my Last of Us Survivor difficulty video walkthrough. This is the Pittsburgh chapter, and we're in the hotel lobby. Well, technically we're not in the hotel lobby just yet. Oh no, we are. My bad. I thought we was on the other one. Yeah, we're here. We're in the place we're supposed to be. And in the interest of brevity, I have cut this video in two because it's a long level. Like some of the, it's not balancing or pacing related, I guess, but some of the level design and the way that the chapters have been designed and incorporated seems a little bit strange to me. Like, I don't know, a chapter itself is generally a very similar length, unless there's something extremely poignant or evocative happening, and I generally prefer to have more chapters that are shorter than less chapters that are longer. That's just a personal preference for me. It makes editing much better when it comes to making videos like this. And this level's just one of those that kind of kicks it to the curb because it's huge. And it's not because I played it necessarily tentatively. It's just one of those missions that kind of goes on. And we're going to be moving through this hotel. Not all of it is the lobby, like, you know, a lot of it is the hotel itself, so it's an interesting chapter name to begin with, but I think I'm overanalyzing it, so we'll just get back to what's going on here. In this room there is a safe. Up there is a note that unlocks the safe. I'm about to go and unlock it, and as I've mentioned, I do miss quite a lot of safes in this playthrough. I'm not too sure if they're affected by difficulty, but it's one of those things where I think I only found a handful of them, and because I was so focused on getting this guide out, I wasn't exploring as much as I perhaps could have. And there's a couple of reasons for this as we get a shiv upgrade. So now we've got more hits on our shivs, but we don't really have a shiv at this moment, I don't think. But the reason why I've not been exploring the way I did on hard is A, for the interest of making the guide a little bit shorter than it needs to be, and B, because on survivor difficulty the drop rate is astronomical, and that right there is a mistake. You know, you press triangle to pick shit up for long enough, you press triangle to interact, and the game wants you to press X. So, nice little trip there. But the stuff you find on this compared to hard is so different. Like, on hard, it's like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. And this is a corner shop that only sells cigarettes. You know, there's nothing here. I think I make 3 Molotovs in my entire playthrough, and on hard I might have made 20. Which gives you an idea of the difference when it comes to how much you're going to be finding, how much you're going to be salvaging, and how much of this has to be you. Kind of just going with what you know, with your skills, and adapting to your situation. And this is one of those places where listening mode, you feel like you're going to need it, but you actually don't. So, there's a bunch of hunters in these rooms. I have no idea what rooms they go in. I have no idea where their paths are. All I know is that the last time I did this area, it was a mess of violence and just grittiness, so on my recording run, I attempted to be a little bit more stealthy, so once we're in the window, take out this guy with a quick choke. Once again, I keep saying quick, even though there's nothing quick about it. Surprised you can't move the bodies or pat them down. One of the things I really expected on this game was Joel to go through the pockets. Because it's such a detailed and subtly nuanced and animated game, I thought something like that would really suit this. You know, where he taps them and you see his hand go into a fabric and things. I think that's Naughty Dog's forte right there. And for some reason, it's not a mechanic. I don't know if it's gameplay reasons or just design reasons. It didn't come to fruition. So right now, we know there's more dudes because we saw them talking. So I'm using my ears to the best of my ability to see if I can hear anybody moving. Once again, take Ellie's movements with a pinch of salt because she's a noisy cow, man. It's so bad. She's everywhere all the time, and it's cool because you've got a companion, but at the same time, I wish I could duct tape the bitch to a bench and be like, sit. And I know that's extremely, you know, misogynistic and against women and stuff, and I don't mean it that way. I'm not trying to infer in any way that she is a dog or to be treated as a dog. It's just, she gets in the way. And now that this guy's decided to do a little bit more of an easy movement, we can take him out as well. If you go balls to the wall in crouch mode walking towards a dude, he will turn around and shoot you in the face. So you want to always either lightly get close to them and then bum rush them, or just do the slowest and quietest crawl, because it's just the best way to work. But here's Joel doing some MacGyver moments. You can tell I'm kind of conflicted as to what I'm going to make. I've got the option of making my weapon better, which I really enjoyed and used a lot in hard. I've got the option to have a shiv, which I'm going to go for because you never know when you're going to get another shiv room. And right now, I could back up and go to another shiv room if there was one I've missed recently. So always bear in mind that you can backtrack to a fair... I can't even think of the fucking word I want. I'm just going to pass it on. A fair bit? No, that's not it. They give you a lot of flexibility to go back through the level. And that is going to haunt me now because I couldn't think of the word I wanted to use. But salvage everything you can from any area that you pass through. I would definitely say don't go out of your way to loot this place because you're just going to get bit. Like, there's not going to be enough stuff in the drawers. It's not going to have been worth the fight it took when the dude walked in and saw you, you know, going through the empty drawer. And this here is a platform that leads up to the second floor. And I ended up getting lost a little bit on this recording run because my first time it was very violent and everybody was dead, so I could just run around and kind of find my way. But on this one, I managed to do it without getting spotted, which should really help people out if you're having problems with your ammo. Couple of things to bear in mind though, which nobody seems to bear in mind, and I say nobody loosely because I really mean the stupid people, and a lot of it is not necessarily sheer stupidity, it's lack of experience with how games work, it's lack of knowledge of how mechanics work. Like when people point out that the AI is doing different things on my screen than it is on their screen, and they don't realise that AI is exactly that. It's intelligence. It is a form of intelligence that does not necessarily follow the same track like a roller coaster. You can't expect it to go the same every time. That is what game design is moving towards. This measure of fidelity where things are random, where things are more realistic, and people need to take everything with a pinch of salt. And if you're allergic to salt, just take it, bitch. But that was a transition as we moved through the bathroom. I'm not entirely sure why. I might have not been able to line up the footage, because I think I did stop playing, and when I reloaded it, it put me back on a checkpoint further back than I expected it to. But once you're out of this area, I don't think there's any enemies in the immediate vicinity, but when you get to the corner, you will hear some discussion, and then it will trigger the AI paths. And one of the paths is a guy that's going to move towards us in this room. And on my first attempt through this zone, I tried to get around these guys, and it worked to charm, but I ended up going a different way. So I came back this way, and I decided to get rid of these dudes. So this dude walks into the middle of the room, gives you perfect opportunity to do this to him. If it does go wrong, I don't think the other guy will hear, unless a gun gets fired. Like, if you can stop guns from being fired, you can generally keep the noise to a minimum. But this sequence that I'm on right now, you can go to the left, but it's the wrong way, or you can go straight across this courtyard, which is the right way. And this is another moment where I digress and I go left thinking it's right, and it isn't. So it's one of those things where I've already been down here, and I don't think it's the way I'm supposed to go. But I've left in my little travel down this area, so for people who want to explore this path, I can show you from my experience a little route of getting through this. So there's a shotgun guy who's just handing himself to us on a platter, thank goodness, because shotguns are so lethal in this game. Like, if you get headshot, you are dead by most weapons, and the enemy AI is extremely accurate. But as you see, we just risked fighting that guy, and there was nothing in the room for it. That is a water bottle. You can kick that if you're not careful. And you can tell I'm aware of it, because I looked at it with the camera. But moving down here, there is a guard that patrols. I'm checking my back because I'm not too sure if there's going to be anybody that way. And I think the only thing that this leads to, once you follow it fully round, is the long way to get to the second floor. And you'll notice we climbed up that hole in the roof, so we did it quickly. And all this is the longer path. But I believe the guy is there, behind those boxes. This is where listening mode comes in handy, but on this difficulty you don't have it, so it's one of those things where you actually have to listen. And did you hear that noise then? When an enemy is getting close to spotting you, it makes a noise. It's like a build-up of wind. And it's really useful because when you can't see somebody and you hear that noise, you know you're vulnerable. You know you need to move or put yourself in a position away from whoever the hell can see you. And it's very empowering. It's a good use of sound because it's an audio cue to tell you that you're in danger. And that is good game design because it's subtle enough to add to the game and give it some tension, but it's also extremely mechanical in its function, which I love. But there's a crossfade anyhow, guys. We're back in the other area we came from. Remember how we went left? Now we're going to go straight. Because as I mentioned, there's nothing really left. It just leads back down to where we went. So I've backtracked, and I'm coming this way now to go where we're supposed to be leading to. And you'll notice there's a fella just to my right with a shotgun, who I'm going to ignore. And then there's a guy down here next to a flaming bin. So just crawl. Don't go full speed with your crouch, or he will turn around. Like, sometimes you can pull it off, but for the most, there's just no reason to risk it. You know, it's for the sake of one guy. Just take your time, because the checkpoints on this game, I've mentioned before, are not great in some respects. In some respects, they're fantastic. In other respects, they're a nightmare. And you really don't know if you're going to suffer from the good aspects of the checkpoint system or the bad. So what's going to happen here is we're going to open up this elevator shaft and we're going to lead into the first intimidating area of the game for me personally. This is the first place where the tension got to me. And it got to me in a really good way because it kind of chilled me out. Kind of got me on the edge of anxiety, and then it introduced a new enemy which really freaked me out, which, you know, it's kind of rare. I've played a lot of horror games at this point, so you have to really lay on the atmosphere thick and really appeal to my imagination to get me going. And that's exactly what it did. It kept it minimalist, it kept it simple, and I was nervous. And I was nervous to play that section again because I remembered it being kind of creepy, and it did lose some of its allure, but, you know, it got me the first time, and that's what matters. But this is one of those moments where The Last of Us proves it would never be a good Die Hard film, because as you know, the elevators and the lifts are something that Bruce McClane uses feverishly in the first Die Hard, and if it was like this one, Die Hard would have been 10 minutes long. But you're now separated from Ellie, you're now on your own, so you get improved hearing, but at the same time there's also that added tension of being solo. You do not have to worry about Ellie whatsoever, you just have to worry about yourself, and we're going to be going into this basement and doing a little bit of puzzle solving and some interacting with a keycard, which is kind of old school, kind of Doom-esque. And the thing with me is, when I'm moving through chest-high water in any kind of survival horror game, I think something's going to come out of the water. I think something's going to stand up, you know, and scare me. A little bit akin to the witch in Legend, if you've ever seen it with Tom Cruise, how she comes out of that swamp. And she's fucking awful. And he starts charming her, and all she wants to do is eat him. And not in a good way. Yeah, that film is just weird, man. I do like it, though. It's one of those films from the childhood that I watch far too often, and then when you watch it when you're a bit older, you wonder, it really wasn't that good. But just keep moving towards the exits. You want to be getting out of the water once you've gone through this little swimming section. But you're going to see the majority of this on the next video, and because there's only 30 seconds left, I'm not going to chew your ear off for unnecessary reasons. So thanks for watching, and you take care now.